Salim Halali. Salim Halali or Salim Halali, birth name Simon Halali, 30 July 1920 – 25 June 2005, was an Algerian singer who performed Algerian music and Arabic Andalusian classical music. He was a pop singer rather than a professional performer of traditional Arab-Andalusian music, in which he had no formal training. Many of his songs remain popular in North Africa and among Jewish and Muslim North African communities in France, where he is an iconic figure of French Arab cabaret music. Early life. Salim Halali was born on 30 July 1920 in Bouinanaba, Algeria, in a family originally from Soukaras. His father was of Turkish origin and his mother was of Judeo-Berber origin. Career. Halali stowed away on a ship bound for Marseille in 1934 and reached Paris in 1937, where he became successful as a singer in Parisian flamenco clubs and met the Algerian musical artist who wrote Halali's first songs, including Adelash I Love a Girl Named Andalusia, Sefilin, Tali, Ardala Blidik, Bayan Bar Al Yamwa Between Yesterday and Today, Munir, the name of one of his sisters, Adira, Achil Sahib, and Al Kelb. In later years, Mohan Igabadshin composed 50 songs for him. In 1938, Halali toured Europe and his flamenco records in Arabic became successful in North Africa. Among his other successes are Al Ain Zaga the Blue Eyes, Mahanizin the Beauty Disturbed Me, Habibti Sama My Beloved as Dogskin, and Alala Lali. During the German occupation of France, Kader Ben Abrit, the founder and first rector of the Great Mosque of Paris, managed to hide Halali's Jewish roots by providing him with a false birth certificate as a Muslim and etching the name of his late father on a tombstone at an unmarked grave in a Muslim cemetery Bobigny in Saint Denis. Halali used to perform at the mosque's Moorish Cafe alongside such artists as Ali Sriti and Ibrahim Salah. After the war, he renewed his successful performing career and earned the admiration of the Egyptian Divan Kulthum. In 1947, Halali created a Middle Eastern cabaret, Folies Smelia, in a Paris hotel that belonged to Ferdinand de Lesseps, located on the Avenue Montaigne in one of the city's best neighborhoods. In 1948, he created a second cabaret club, the Serial, on the Lange Folle Le Coq d'Or. In 1949, he moved to Morocco, bought an old cafe in Maarif, the cosmopolitan quarter of Casablanca, and transformed it into a prestigious cabaret. It was frequented by wealthy Moroccans and visiting dignitaries, including King Farouk of Egypt, and it was where Ward al-Jazaria began her career in Real Hodja el-Hamdi Yuyasan. From 1950, he formed a duo with the Moroccan Haim Botbol, covering a number of Maghrebi classics. After it was destroyed in a fire, Salim returned to France. He lived in Cannes in the early 1960s. In the late 1960s, he recorded a version of My Yiddish Mom, a 1925 American vaudeville hit, in Arabic. He expressed affection for the Muslim youth of the Parisian banlieues. When he performed in Jerusalem in the 1960s and said in Arabic on the stage, "Long live the Arab nation," the audience threw things at him. He left the stage and never visited Israel again. He made no secret of the fact that he was gay and lived openly with his partner Pierre as early as 1949. Halali's career reached a turning point when he released a long-playing record in French and performed at the Salle Pleyel in Paris early in 1970. He later gave additional concerts in Paris, Montreal, and Casablanca. Though still successful, Halali decided to retire to Cannes, where he was known for hosting lavish parties at his villa, which had an Arabian Nights decor like his cabarets, and a garden with 2 pet tigers. He continued to perform for private parties as late as 1992. In 1993, having sold his villa St. Charles on St. Charles Street in Cannes, he lived in complete anonymity in a retirement home in Valoris, where his days followed the simple routine of a typical resident. Throughout his career, Halali was also recognized as a virtuoso darbuka player. Halali's recordings have enjoyed renewed success with the revival of interest in the Judeo-Arabic musical repertoire since the last years of the 20th century. As one student of Muslim youth culture has written, Halali's voice represents a form of Muslim-Jewish coexistence, for young French Muslims trying to make sense of their status as Europe's new other. The Arab-Jew songs of exile resonate. Personal life. Halali was openly gay. Tom Cohen, the head conductor and artistic director of the Mediterranean Orchestra of Ashkelon, summed up Halali's life and influence thus. Death. Halali died in a hospital in Antibes, Alpes Maritimes on 25 June 2005. In accordance with his last wishes, his ashes were scattered in the Garden of Remembrance at the crematorium in Nice. Popular culture. Salim Halali is depicted as one of the principal characters in the film Free Men, directed by Ismail Faraki, released in 2011. He is played by Mahmoud Chalabi, an Israeli-Palestinian who learned French to play the role.